That was great and totally unexpected. Good to have you here. Thanks for being brave enough to come out on Friday the 13th. Oh, some of you didn't realize it was Friday the 13th? That's awesome. Well, we're going to hear a lot more about that from our special guest later, but it's good to have you out here. It's another gorgeous day in Mesa, Arizona. Those of you watching at home, if you're watching someplace on the internet and you're not in Mesa, boy, that's your bad. You should be here. This is the place to be, Mesa, Arizona. So without further ado, we're back this month at Crescent Crown Distributing. Good to have you back. It's good to be here, isn't it? We've got breakfast this morning was provided by Chick-fil-A. How about a nice round of applause for your breakfast providers? And we'd like to thank all of our behind-the-scenes sponsors, including Alpha Graphics, Gateway Bank, East Valley Tribune, Crowd Mics, Yvonne Martinez Photography, Cobblestone Auto Spa, and Crescent Crown Distributing, once again, as our host. And thanks again to Chick-fil-A. What a great way to kick off a Friday. Don't forget your bags after the show on your way out. They'll give you a complimentary bag. It's full of all kinds of good little donated items from a lot of our sponsors. And we'd like to thank Mesa Community College, where we had last month's event, for their kind donation of the attendee bags. If you'd like to get your business represented in the attendee bags, talk to anybody at the desk on your way out, and we'll make sure that can happen. If I haven't mentioned yet, and I know I haven't, please turn off your cell phones or at least turn them to vibrate as a courtesy to those on stage and those around you. We'll do what we do every month. If your phone does happen to go off during Mesa Morning Live, we'll consider that a $20 donation to the United Food Bank. So turn your phone off, or go ahead and kick in the $20 donation to United Food Bank anyway. So they're always in need of food for those less fortunate. So without further ado, let's get going. Boy, there's no better way to kick off Mesa Morning Live than with our next guest. He's making a return visit. I don't even know how many, 3, 4, 5. He's a favorite here at Mesa Morning Live. He's going to tell us all about what's going on with his world. His business is booming, and he's going to tell us all about it. How about a big round of applause for Mr. Alvin Heggs, Big Al Heggs. Come on out. Good to have you here, sir.
Our pleasure's mine, man. How are you doing today?
Just doing great, and I always feel more secure with you in the building.
As well as myself.
I feel if anything goes south, I got Big Al to lean on. So good to have you here. How are things?
Things are exceptionally well right now.
Well, good. Well, tell us all about. I know your do I call it a dealership? Your empire.
Not quite an empire yet.
Oh, well, but tell us how you're making your headway toward that.
You know, the last time we were here, we actually had the first the Dodge Ram dealership that opened up. We took over 5 years ago, so wow. Everything was going very well. My executive team, we came down here and changed the trajectory of the dealership from the 75 cars it was doing per month to now doing over 325 a month, and new and used. So it has gone, I mean, better than I could have imagined. But then they had an opportunity just last year to offer the first standalone Jeep opportunity in the United States. So we said, well, since we've been very successful with one, why not take on another? So now we're about to have the grand opening this weekend, actually, the 13th and 14th. And 16th of this week, we're going to have our grand opening for our first standalone Jeep point right across the street from our other facility. I guess it's up on the screen here. So this is going to be open. That was the ribbon cutting now. So the grand opening will be this weekend. And if you have nothing to do for lunch today and tomorrow, please come by and have some free lunch festivities and walk around and meet the employees and get some Sub-Zero ice cream on me.
I like it. Well, because of these banners, I can't really see much of what's up there. I'm assuming you might have other employees with you. I just see one head.
Yeah, that's probably mine. I think that's mine.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that would be you. Hey, for those that don't know, give us a quick little catch-up. Tell us a little bit about your background and where you're from and how you ended up here.
Originally from Jacksonville, Florida. Born and raised there, played basketball, then got a chance to go to play at the University of Texas, where thereafter I thought I was going to get in the car business immediately because that was my summer job. had a little detour, started playing professional basketball for 13 years, and wanted to get back to what I knew thereafter. The basketball was a great platform for me, and as the platform grew, people would always say, well, I remember when you were such and such and did this and that, and I said, yeah, the little cup of coffee I had with the Rockets was more substantial than what I really thought it was going to turn out to be, because I lived in Houston for 20 years, so it turned out to be a great platform. But then I got a chance to get in the car business again, and it was the best thing I could have ever done. You always say sometimes, I probably should have did that first, but if I didn't have that platform, it wouldn't have turned out to be the same, so I wouldn't have changed anything. And now this has turned into, now opposed to, that used to be called Superstition Springs.
Right.
Chrysler Jeep Dodge. Now it's Higgs Chrysler Jeep Dodge, and I had to put my name under and make it our auto group. So that's not an empire yet, that's actually just two dealerships. and then now we're also moving out into Mesa Gateway for our rental-car company as well. So I said, well, when somebody asked me, the guy asked me today, say, I see you changed the name. I said, I guess the check cleared. So.
That's awesome.
So no, it's fun.
Well, talking about growth, and that's what everybody that has a small business would like to see it grow. I say everybody, I would assume so. What about your employees? How many employees did you start off with? Where are you now, and where do you want to go?
When we got here, the employee count was about 62. Now we started running the Dodge store with 135. Now with the expansion, we're over 170. So we'll be over 170 with the two facilities. Then you throw the rental car company, we'll be right at 200.
Wow.
My goal, in essence, because I have 4 executives that are very high-powered, intelligent men that can actually run a dealership themselves, but I want them to run their own entities with probably 250 employees under each. So we want to employ 1,000 people here in Mesa and make sure that we build a niche and say this is where our roots are going to be grown, but we want to expand the community, but in a way that we can employ people and make it the best place for them to work under the Higgs Automotive Group.
Wow, that's great. Well, I love it. Yeah. You know, I just had I know where you're located. Tell the folks that don't know where you're located exactly how to get there.
Well, Superstition Springs in the 60. And we're on both sides of the freeway now, so you can't miss us. If you turn one way and say you think you made a wrong turn, you'll see us there. If you make a wrong turn on the other one, you'll see us there. So you can't go wrong either way you turn off the 60 and Superstition.
It's like Circle K. They put one on every corner. Hey, now here's an idea, and I don't know about the legal problems that may arise from something like this, but I'm just spitballing ideas.
Right.
You ever thought about doing like road cones and forcing everybody off the 60? And then funneling them right into your deal, and then they have to drive through and then get back on the 60.
We do that on the lot. You can't really do that off the freeway.
Okay.
The only thing, but when you ride through the lot, it's like a maze. You're wondering how to get out.
That's awesome. Well, I know you're too modest to bring this up on your own, so I'll throw it at you. Talk about what you provided for Oakwood, and also for what you did for for Sally's adventure last year.
You know, the Oakwood Creative Care was something very near and dear to Kevin and myself when we went over there. My grandmother used to be in a facility such as that, but it wasn't to the level in which Oakwood is, where she actually stayed there for 4 years. It wasn't where you can go home. It was a facility where they were just there to end their lives. I went to Oakwood, and it was stark difference from what I saw. It was vibrant, people excited, they were interacting with people, they were doing various things. And I was like, man, I wish my grandmother would have been in this place. And then, you know, the hard-tugging moments when the lady comes up to you, they have slight dementia and things of that nature, and they think that you're their husbands because their husband used to wear a suit, and the lady says, you dress just like my husband. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna kill me.
Get the checkbook
Oh
out.
man, and it had already been written out. It was falling out my pocket by that time. So I was like, this is crazy. So what we did was, they were having trouble with some of their vehicles and transportation, spending way too much money on transportation, getting these ladies back and forth. So what we did as a company, we donated 2 vehicles to them that they can actually utilize to get people around, to take them to different events so they can continue the happy life that they have. it was just a wonderful thing. You don't even feel the impact financially to yourself, and nor do you look for a return on investment on something like that, other than the fact that it just makes you feel great. And then with Sally, with her new venture, open up the her new location, which was extraordinary, and hats off to her doing so much around here, like the ever-ready battery. But this was a great opportunity for us to continue to do things within the community. We did things monthly with her. We made a commitment, a 5-year commitment, that we'll do things annually, that she doesn't have to worry about income from sponsorships from us, because it's already been allocated. So, and now we have a room in her facility that's going to be the Higgs Automotive Group meeting room. So those things are things that we really, get engaged in, because it's reciprocal. The things that they do for us in the city of Mesa, we try to do and reciprocate the same things, because it's just a great partnership, a great relationship, and I wouldn't have wanted to do it anywhere else.
Well, boy, I'll tell you what, with that kind of business philosophy, there's no doubt you're going to keep on heading toward that empire.
That's where we're going.
So, well, folks, you know what? At some point, everybody's in the market for a car, or you know somebody that is. You couldn't do them a bigger favor than tell them to go down to the Higgs Auto Group and check it out. So thanks for all you do for the Chamber, for the city of Mesa, for the state of Arizona, and keep employing people and keep growing.
That's what we're going to do.
Not you physically. Quit. No. Seriously, stop right where you are. But I will continued success to you, and you're welcome back anytime.
Hey, thank you for having me.
How about a big round of applause for Mr. Big Al Higgs? Thank you, sir. Good to have you. Stick around, too, Al. Al's going to stick around, so if you got any questions or any automotive needs, talk to Al after the show. So always great to have him back. Our next segment is sponsored by our good friends at Gateway Bank. They're a local bank focused on growing your personal or business finances. It's called Community Spotlight, and it allows us to highlight the strong nonprofit community that we have right here in Mesa, Arizona. This morning, we'd like to welcome to the stage, representing the Commemorative Air Force Air Base, Arizona, Executive Director, Mr. Jim Swanke. Jim, come on up. Good to have you here, sir. Well, thanks for being here, and give us a quick history of what CAF is and what they're doing in Arizona.
I will do so. Commemorative Air Force, at least the Mesa group, started in 1978. The actual Commemorative Air Force out of Dallas was way back in 1951. We're a nonprofit 501c. So the Mesa Air Base is the largest of about 80 units around the United States. Consists of about 13,000 members, roughly 170 vintage World War I and World War II aircraft. Our basic mission is to acquire, restore, and preserve vintage aircraft, with the ultimate mission of educating the public about the role of the World War II bombers and how it portrays into our history.
Wow, so tell us about the museum, and I know it's the biggest one in the country, is that right?
It is, if not the biggest, one of the biggest. We have 55,000 square foot facility. We're hangared in 2 different buildings. We have aircraft in both buildings, and actually thousands of artifacts. We have more artifacts than we actually have room to display right now. But we have a PX there. We have a ride program where you can go online. This is just initiated about a year ago, where you can look at our aircraft schedule, pick the plane you want to fly in, pick the date you want to fly, as long as it's on a weekend during the wintertime. But in the summertime, we tour roughly 50 to 60 cities all over Canada and the United States. Our planes typically are the big bombers and the C-47 that leaves late May. They just return on the 9th of October. So we see a lot of people, and I don't use the word give rides, but sell rides during the summertime. It's one of our biggest revenue items.
That's awesome. That's way better than Uber. It's much faster. You mentioned all the cool memorabilia there. Just kind of off the cuff, is there anything that you find particularly? What's your favorite? If you're going to show somebody something, what's the coolest thing in there?
Well, the people who love mechanics head for the engines. I try to shy away from them, because people start saying, oh, well, what size is a piston or the wrist pin? I said, oh, you better talk to a crew chief. I like hanging around the P-51 Mustang's my favorite aircraft, but also the bombers. It's just exhilarating not only to hear them start up, but to see them taxi, to see them fly. And during the summertime, we have the opportunity as members to fly in almost daily when we're on tour. So it's exciting.
That's very cool. Well, I know the Mesa Chamber is going to be out there in an event. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, Mesa Chamber is our strategic partner for aviation fascination. And one of your members here, Vern Mathern, heads up that as a co-chair. This is, I'm not sure how many years, it's been a number of years, but it's an opportunity for the public to come out, look at our aircraft, look at other aircraft, look at exhibits from the various Mesa sponsors and so forth. It's a great time for the public, and generally will bring out several thousand people as a minimum.
Now, I know you just recently welcomed a new aircraft to the museum. What was that?
Our new baby, born in I think it was born in 1943, just about younger than I am. It's a TBM Avenger. TBM stands for torpedo bomber. It was located in the Quonset Air Museum in Rhode Island, and we have what's called the Aircraft Acquisition and Restoration Committee. They search all the United States looking for vintage aircraft, and the museum was closing because the city was expanding, plus the roof had fallen in on the building, so they had no option. But we were able to acquire the aircraft through some donations, take the wings off, take the vertical stabilizer off, put it on 2 semis, along with an extra wing, an extra engine, and now it's in our hangar put together. It's our intent to restore it over the next year or two, and possibly, depending on funding, it may even be flyable again. The fuselage is in good shape.
That's very cool. You know, I don't know why I've never thought of this before, but I know Arizona is a great place for automobile collectors because of the climate that we have here, and probably the same is true with aircraft too. I'm sure this is a great environment for them.
When you look at Davis-Monthan, the old boneyards, there's a lot of old jets, and it used to be a lot of World War II aircraft there, but they certainly are either Toyota cars now or Budweiser cans or no planes left. So it's pretty hard to find parts and so forth, but the climate is very conducive to keeping aircraft very clean and airworthy.
That's great. What other events do you have coming up?
Just about every weekend from now until spring, there's an event. Like tomorrow, there's a car show. About 200 vintage cars will be out there. Every weekend, there's something else going on, from dances to aviation fascination, Copper State fly-in, to name a few. And I just happen to have a little brochure with.
Wow, that is weird.
On the 2nd of December, we invite everyone in this room to come out and join us for our first Christmas gala, which is going to be our second fundraiser. But the first time we've tried this, it'll be a Christmas dance with an orchestra, Myron Summerfield Orchestra, good dance music, a meal's included, all for the low price of $25. And you could barely go to Chick-fil-A for that for lunch for $25. And that night, we'll have the drawing for the car. Tickets are $50 a car. Our brochure shows a Cadillac XT5 and a Jeep. However, the Earnhardt dealership, no offense, Big Al, is our strategic partner there. So if you won the vehicle and you decide you didn't want a Jeep or Cadillac, you could pick up Toyota, Mercedes, whatever's available. Second place prize is a ride for 7 in the B-17, and then we have some other smaller rides. We welcome you to buy a ticket, or you can buy it online at azcaf.org.
That's great. Well, are you going to stick around for the rest of Mesa Morning Live?
I certainly am.
Hang out, and if anybody's got any questions about this or any other thing, and I'll tell you what, you know, the winter visitors come out. You've got a lot of your friends that come out from Nebraska, and after you've shown them around, you go, what can we do with these people? Take them to the Air Museum. It's an awesome place to, it'll bring back a lot of memories for people that have served. So come out and check them out. And Jim, thank you so much for stopping in. And if you've got any questions, stop by and see Jim Swanke afterwards. Thank you, sir.
Thank you much, Mark. Appreciate it.
Our next interview, we're going to kind of continue the community spotlight. As you may know, because of Veterans Day, we decided not to hold a Mesa Morning Live in the month of November. Please join me in welcoming to the stage this year's East Valley Veterans Parade Association President, Melissa Forrester, and Parade Grand Marshal, Major General David Radachek. Melissa, David.
Good morning.
Welcome, good to have you here.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Good to be here. Tell us about what's going on.
Well, we've got the East Valley Veterans Parade that's coming up on 11/11 at 11 o'clock here in downtown Mesa. And we are celebrating all of our heroes, all of the folks men and women who have fought to make this country free. And I've got a big hero right here beside me.
Yes, you do. 11/11 at 11 o'clock. Now, if you forget that, seriously, people. You said you got a hero sitting next to you. I'm assuming you mean to your right. No, I'm sure you mean to your right. Tell us about your guest.
This is Major General David Radachek.
And?
I guess I had a short career.
He is our Grand Marshal at the parade. Tell him about yourself.
Perfect. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Major Radachek.
Well, I was born and raised in Minneapolis, came here about 35 years ago, and I started my career active duty Army and spent a tour in Vietnam flying helicopters, and then I got out and joined the Guard, went back to the University of Minnesota, came here in 1982, excuse me, for a job, transferred to the Arizona Guard, and the rest is history. I never thought I would end up being a Major General, but I did, and I'm very fortunate and very lucky, and surrounded by a lot of great people that helped me get to where I am today.
That's great. Now, I'm not sure I heard this right, but on 9/11 of '01, where were you?
In the Pentagon.
Can you tell us more, or would you have to kill us if you told us?
Well, I was in a conference in a room, right, as you know, the Pentagon's five-sided, and where the airplane hit, I was in the facet right next to it in a conference room. And because we were in a conference room, we didn't have any idea what had previously happened to the World Trade Centers. And they were in the process of, and they still are, renovating the Pentagon. And they had these very tall construction cranes that stood above the roof of the five-story Pentagon. And all of a sudden, there was this huge boom, and the ceiling tiles came down, and it got, dusty and things in the conference room. And my very first thought was that one of these cranes had fallen over on the building and done some damage, not knowing. And then you hear people screaming and yelling, and 23,000 people in the building started to evacuate. But I would tell you that was very orderly. There really wasn't any panic. And so we all got outside, and then you see the big fireball still expanding into the air, and then something serious happened, and the rest is history.
Wow.
I have just as a side note, I have a friend of mine that I met in third grade, and he retired as a vice admiral from the Navy, but he also was in the building when it hit, just coincidentally. And I said, John, we got to quit doing all these things together.
They were after you too. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. We're glad you made it out alive. Melissa, tell us about the Veterans Day Parade this year.
Well, we have over 100 different floats that are going to be in this parade. And this year, the East Valley Veterans Parade Association, I had asked if they would host a peanut butter drive for United Food Bank, and they said yes, so thank you to the committee. So when everybody comes, I'm hoping that you guys this morning will help me spread the word.
Oh, I see. That was smooth.
Creamy,
and
maybe.
chunky. Yes. See what we did there?
So come to the parade and help us. Some of the folks who came back from different wars were not really appreciated. We had a gentleman who was on our committee who passed away this year. And his name was Michael, and I remember him one day in one of our meetings. He stood up and he said, when I came home, nobody thanked us. He said, this parade is the first time I've felt thanked.
Wow.
So I want to thank all of our veterans. We want to celebrate all of our veterans. So if you're a veteran, come on out. If you're someone anybody who, because of our freedom, we need to come on out in droves and celebrate these people. It is going to be a huge celebration.
That's
And
awesome.
bring your jars of peanut butter.
And bring your jars of peanut butter, absolutely. And will
And
they,
because one of the places that United Food Bank serves food to is the Veteran Center, making sure that if you're a veteran, food should not be something that you are worried about. Check that off your list. And so we work in
Absolutely.
partnership.
now, did everybody get one of these, or
They're on our back table.
they're on the back table? Make sure you stop by. Interesting little thing. The average child will eat 1,500 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches before he or she graduate from high school. I think that should be actually a requirement, because that last week could be rough for some people. You have 700 sandwiches to eat before you can get your diploma. That would be awesome. See, that's just the way my brain works.
And I'm excited this year. We have such a wonderful Grand Marshal. We always do.
That is great. And 11/11 at 11 o'clock. Any parting things you'd like to share with us, Grand Marshal?
Well, from my standpoint, it's an honor for me to be the Grand Marshal, and I know that I know a lot of veterans, and they appreciate the recognition they get at these Veterans Day parades, especially from the community who come out, the kids, you know, and people of all ages. So it's great. And coincidentally, I wrote the mayor a letter last winter, and I started out by thanking him for being part of the East Valley Parade, because it's a huge thing. And I just want to thank the community for doing this.
As a Grand Marshal, do you get to ride along in a convertible and do the parade wave and all that kind of cool stuff? Because if you don't have the car lined up, I know a guy. He's really big in the car business.
Yeah. Well, I've got to tell Big Al, I've got a car that's half a century old, and I still drive it. So Big, I don't trade cars very often. I'm sorry.
That's great. Well, Melissa, thanks for stopping by, and thanks for always pushing to make sure that people are fed. You're right. That's a basic thing that just shouldn't be on anybody's worry, especially veterans. And thank you, sir, for not only serving as Grand Marshal in the parade, but 42 years of service for this great country. So thank you very much. How about a big round of applause
Thank you.
for Melissa Forster and David Radicek. All right, hey, boy, can't believe we made it till October. I think we've made it through the hottest part of the year. We're easing into fall. We're easing into Halloween, and at the end of the month. And when you think Halloween, you think of people dressing up. So in true Mesa Morning Live fashion, we decided to come up with a top 10 list. This is top 10 worst Halloween costumes. Okay, you get it? There's really good costumes. Then there's the really bad ones. So we thought we would do the top 10 worst Halloween costumes, starting off with number 10. Is that, I can't see. Number 10. A lot of times we rehearse this. And this time we said, no, let's just wing it. But anyway, that's number 10. That's the Flash. Number 9. I don't even know what that is. I don't think I want to know what that is. The number 8, there you go. Boy, wouldn't you like him on your front porch? And by the way, I think you were right. I think it is correct. I was just frozen on number 10. I have no idea. I got to start sleeping before Mesa Morning Live. Number 7. I don't even, boy, minutes of thought went into that costume. Number 6, that's Bert and Ernie if they had been through some kind of nuclear blast. That guy needs sunscreen. Number 5, why, really? I don't even know what they are, but I'd be calling 911 if they were on my front porch. Number 4, worst costumes. Yeah, those guys. Those are actually Mesa Chamber members. Raise your hand if that was you. Number 3, man's best friend, and look what we do to him. The USS Enterprise. Look at that dog's face. He's like, seriously? Really? But he is Bud Light fueled. Number 2. Boy, that kind of makes you want everything pumpkin spicy. Look at that guy. That's actually his Tinder account. Kudos for those of you that know what Tinder is. And the number one, before we divulge the number one, we thought, wouldn't it be cool if somebody within the confines of the Mesa Chamber had really gone above and beyond? And we found that the number one worst costume we've ever seen is, that's Dave Barnes. And you should all be laughing because it could have been you. Big round of applause for the top 10 worst costumes. Is Dave here, by the way? No, he's smart. Make sure you call or text Dave and tell him what he missed. And as a side note, obviously that was not Dave. Trying to legally cover all of our bases here. Hey, it's time for the Wheel of Prizes. Each month we draw one lucky audience member. Bob's doing some last-minute fix-up on the wheel to spin the Wheel of Prizes. This audience member will spin the wheel. You're going to win something on the wheel, and everything's over $50. And somebody, if you spin it and you land on the jackpot, you're going to win everything on the wheel. So here's everybody. When they came in, they put their card in this little wicker basket. I'm going to randomly pick your name and join me up on stage to a thunderous round of applause if your name is Brian Lawson. Brian, come on up. Come on up, Brian Lawson. Brian's got the microphone. Let's start off by Brian. This is your lucky day. Yeah. Take a second and tell everybody who you are and what you do and why you're a Mesa Chamber member and anything else.
Well, I'm Brian Lawson with the Market Builder, and we help businesses build their markets through printing and direct mail and advertising, big on data. So if you want to build your business, we're certainly the right people for you. We've been a member of the Chamber. My brother's wife started the business in '92. I've been here since '99. We've been very active in the Chamber, and it has helped our business, and we just love giving back to the community and working within the community here. So thank you for everybody that's here and supporting the community as well.
That's right. Well, and not only that, but those of you watching at home, you should be here too. You could be up on stage if we pulled your name in and build your business. And Brian will help you with that. Let me hold the microphone. What you can do is you're going to spin it toward you. Don't go crazy and try and, break the wheel. This thing is very, by the way, we'd like to thank Thompson's Auto Repair and Towing for sponsoring every month's Wheel of Prizes. There's the jackpot. If it lands on that, you get everything on the board. If it were to happen that it just was perfectly on the peg, you're going to win what's closest to you. And by the way, if your business would like to be highlighted on the Wheel of Prizes, talk to somebody on your way out. So without further ado, Brian, you got it? You got it all figured out? You got it? Okay, there you go. Give it a spin. Big round of applause. Let's go. You have won 2 round-trip Allegiant airline tickets. That's a $500 value.
Excellent.
And you're going to get to, where do you want to go?
I don't know.
Well, there you go. That's a good, do you know who you want to take with you? That's the more important question.
I better see my wife.
Yes, there you go. Brian, thank you so much. Congratulations. Thanks to, that is provided by Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport. Thank you so much for that contribution. And once again, if you'd like for your business to be highlighted on the Wheel of Prizes, talk to Sally or Bob or anybody at the desk on your way out. So, I have been looking forward to this for a long time. This gentleman, our special guest this month, is a good friend of mine. We go back a number of years, and we'll probably talk about that a little bit. Those of you that watch at home, you might know that you can watch us online, and this gentleman has been the most viewed guest we've ever had on Mesa Morning Live. How many countries has Scott been viewed in? 160 some countries have watched this gentleman, but you're lucky you get to do it right here today. So please welcome to the stage the one and only, my good buddy, Mr. Scott Flansburg, the human calculator. Hello, Scotty. It's good to have you, buddy.
My pleasure.
Good to have you here. And
Thank you.
Man, you're a busy. He scared me a little bit this morning. I was driving in, and my text goes off, and I look at him, and it's Scott going, "Hey, is that Mesa thing today?"
It was Friday the 13th, and it's the scariest thing I could think of to do to him.
You scared me for like a second.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it is Friday the 13th. Now that's a great way to kick this off. Why does that scare people? The number 13.
Well, there's a lot of history to it. Stuff happened to the Knights of Templar on the Friday the 13th. Jesus had 12 disciples. There were 13. There's a lot of reasons people think that some people have gone out of their way to make 13 seem unlucky. And it's funny, statistically speaking, if you look at the calendar that we use, this Roman calendar, it's a couple thousand years old. If you go back through time and look at the 13th, it falls on Friday more than any other day of the week through all of time. So that we treat it like an unlucky day is a bad idea because it happens the most in the calendar. So maybe we ought to reconsider that. But yeah, so the calendar's a mess. Can I just break it down real quick? Because whenever Friday the 13th happens, I always have a fun day because to me, it's like the best day ever. I love Friday the 13th. I've invented a 13-month calendar. And I would love to share it with you guys, but before I do, I just want to share with you how bad your calendar is, okay? So today is October. That word oct begins, O-C-T, that's 8, like octopus. But October is our 10th month. Sept means 7 in Latin, but September is our 9th month. Nov means 9 in Latin, but November is our 11th month. Dec means 10, but it's our 12th month. Julius Caesar's got a month. Augustus Caesar's got a month. Nobody knows what January means. February, nobody can spell it. March, April, May. We don't even know what these words mean, and yet we're still using them every day. So, and the fact that nobody knows what day of the week any date is on, the calendar skips around, like some months have 30, 31, 28, 29. It just goes all over the place. Basically, it's designed to make sure we can't tune into time. And so that's why I invented a new calendar that has 13 months. It's a 13-month calendar. Oh, they put it up there. Thank you, guys. You're awesome. This is crazy. I was visiting a school in Phoenix, Arizona in 1999. It was Cinco de Mayo, and a little girl asked me to do my Guinness World Record where I count by a number, and she asked me to do 28. And I just started counting by 28. I go 28, 56, 84, 112, 140, 168, 196, 224, 252, 280, 308, 336, 364. So 13 28s is 364. And I was like, wow, why don't we use a calendar like that? Every month would have 28 days, 4 weeks. The first would always be a Monday. The 5th would always be a Friday. The 28th would always be a Sunday. Every number would be the same day of the week every month. Make our lives so much easier. And I invented a 0 day to make it all add up and stuff. So you can download this. It's on my website. It's free. It didn't catch on too well this year. We're still using the Roman calendar. The next time it lines up with your calendar is 2023. So I'm actually writing a book between now and then to show people, and it'll come out in 2020, to show people how to see time clearly, like 2020 vision. So if you guys don't mind, and people watching, download this calendar. It's free. It's 13 months. And all I ask you to do is when you take 15 minutes and write out your bills on this calendar. So find the dates that correspond to your rent day or your mortgage day, your car payment, all your little things that you just do every month, and just put them on this 13-month calendar with 28 days in every month. And then just flip through it, and you will see patterns just jump out at you that give you so much insight into your everyday life and how your monthly life revolves around numbers and money, and it will give you an opportunity to make better decisions. So I believe this calendar one day will be used as a business tool first, and we'll see the advantages of it, and one day it might actually be accepted socially. So, yeah, I got a lot of free time, so that's what I'm doing. It's just an idea. Just have fun with it, okay?
Well, and you know what? If everybody on the 13th month calendar, if everybody made a mortgage payment, if you made that extra mortgage payment every year, you'd pay off a 30-year loan in how many years?
Well, what happens is it's called the rule of 72, so you can figure out how fast money doubles. But if you did a mortgage with 13 payments, it would save you between 15% and maybe 20% over a 30-year mortgage. So I've asked banks to consider using this to give the consumers an advantage, to have 13 payments of 28 days and make it easier to budget out your money and save money on your interest payments. So that didn't go over too well with the banks. So
I know a guy at Gateway Bank. We'll talk to him.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, now I know there's some skeptic either here or watching at home that goes, oh, you know what, he's just memorized all these numbers. So I'm going to throw something at you, totally curveball.
what do you want to do?
We've all heard, what's the most evil number you can think of?
Well, the most
mark of
evil
the
number, the 666 thing comes up because people read about it.
Okay, so that's, and then we've also heard the term, which I don't agree with, that money is the root of all evil. So what is the square root of 666? Go.
Well, I want to tell you, there's something about this. It's 25.8, but 666 is not evil. Evil is, if you spell it backwards, it's live, L-I-V-E. And so I believe that evil is just living backwards. So how do you not live backwards? 666 is an evil number. It's in the Bible, Revelation 13, 16 through 18 or something. But if you take the first 6 Roman numerals, remember the Roman numerals? I is a 1, V is a 5, X is a 10, L is a 50, C is 100, and D is 500. Those are the first 6 Roman characters for numbers. If you add those up, it adds up to 666. So I think the Romans were actually the evil ones. And we're still using their calendar 2,000 years later. What a scam. I mean, it's incredible.
That is a scam.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell us what have you been up to? What's going on besides the calendar? What are your projects? And brag a little bit.
Thanks, buddy. It's been a dream year for me. My TV show's out on the History Channel called The Human Calculator. Last November, I hosted the Olympics in Las Vegas for the top 200 mental athletes in the world for memory, mental math, and speed reading. The youngest contestant was a 5-year-old girl from India who broke a world record at the event. And the oldest was a 75-year-old person from America, and all from everywhere in between. And for 4 days, they competed for world records, and we broke 13 world records out of the 16 categories. So that was a dream come true to host that, to meet the most brilliant little kids from around the planet. And now I'm launching a new event next year. It's called the National Counting Bee. It's like the National Spelling Bee, except with numbers. My Guinness World Record is counting by a number for 15 seconds. So Mark, here's your chance. You ready? Okay. This doesn't look good here. All right, so
we didn't talk this over.
Yeah, good luck with this. Okay, so live, ready? So the first round, everybody gets 15 seconds, like I did in the Guinness book. And the first round, everybody has to count by 3. Is anybody brave enough in the audience to count by 3 for 15 seconds? Anybody? Anybody? See, Mark?
You mean like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18?
To make it fair, nobody starts at 0. Every kid gets a random starting number. So it might be, all right, Mark, you got to start at 7 this time. And now count by 3. So what's 7 plus 3
10,
plus
13, 16, 19, 22, 25, 28, 31, 34, 37, 40, 43, 46. God, is that 50?
Very good. Give him a hand. That was awesome. Thanks, buddy. Better than most. So we count how many answers each kid gets. And the fastest kids move on to the next round. They got to count by 4 and 5 and 6 and so on, and change it, make it a little harder each way. It's going to be for elementary school kids to make sure they're not just memorizing their math facts, but actually understand numbers and how to count. So it'll be a fun contest to celebrate athletes and mathletes. So I'm going to do a counting bee in America, and then in each country, and then have a World Series of counting each year is the goal. But first, I have to do the Arizona counting bee. So that's why I'm back in Arizona. Next year, we're putting on the Arizona counting bee. And we're gonna find every kid in this state that feels like they have a chance of being a mathlete, and we're gonna find the fastest little kids from each grade in Arizona and put them on TV and celebrate them like little mathletes, little celebrities, to inspire other kids to say, hey, maybe it's cool to be good at math. So it's called the Arizona Counting Bee. It'll be coming out next year. So if you wanna be involved in it in any way, or just your school, your kids, your company or something, just let me know. And we're gonna make it as cool as possible to count. To be a mathlete.
You know what, that's something that sticks with you for your life. And you're right, we celebrate sometimes the goofiest things, because somebody can throw a football better than or whatever.
Silly athletes.
Yeah, exactly.
So one thing I wanted to do when I was driving over here, I texted Mark and told him I wasn't gonna be here just as a joke. But Sally, I wanna thank you and your team for making me feel so special in Mesa, because sentimentally, I started the Human Calculator 28 years ago here on Country Club.
How many years ago?
28, 27.9, I rounded up. And I was driving, and I drove down country club this morning because, you know, I didn't have anything. I had to walk that street every day to my job, and it's a crazy street for me. So I was driving back this way, and I stopped at a store, and I picked something up. You know, a lot of people woke up this morning thinking it's Friday the 13th, and it's an unlucky day. I'm trying to sell a 13-month calendar. America started with 13 colonies. If you look at a dollar bill, there's 13s all over it. How many pyramid levels and leaves and arrows and all these things. 13s everywhere around us. We should be celebrating 13 because it's how our country started, instead of being afraid of 13 and not having a 13th floor or a 13th flight or a 13th row, or this is all craziness. It's 2017. Let's get over this fear of 13. So I stopped and picked up a lottery ticket today to show you guys that 13 is not unlucky. So what I did was I picked out the following numbers. Okay, Mark?
Okay.
Today's date is, what is it, October 7th, 13th, obviously.
Right.
So I got 10 and 13. And then the address here that we're hosting this at is 1640. So I used 16 and 40. And the year is 2017. So those are the 5 numbers I picked, is 17 in those. And then the extra number is 13, obviously, because it's Friday the 13th. So if this ticket wins today, everyone who signed up and is registered to be in this room today, we're all going to split this, all right? Is that fair? All right. You too, Mark. But,
You know how he covered himself on that? It's not till tomorrow.
Well, yeah, good point. No, what I did was, so I got this for tonight, Friday the 13th, but also I got a quick pick, because, you know, maybe we're just lucky. So I'm going to let Mark, do you guys all trust Mark? Is this cool? Can we let Mark hold it over the weekend? Are you okay? All right, Mark, there you go. I took a picture of the ticket so we can chase him down. If you don't see him next month at the Mesa Morning Live, you know what happened.
This is for tonight. This
yeah,
is
it's
the
for
Mega
tonight.
Millions.
So
Okay.
if you guys, there's 88 of us in the room today, so it's each about 250,000 apiece, all right? So it should be a good weekend.
If you're watching this at home, you do not qualify.
Yeah.
You have to physically be here. That's awesome. Well, that's cool. You got any, show off a little bit. How can we do that?
Well, can we do the calendar today? Because when I come here, I do the Guinness World Record or a bunch of number calculations. I'm also a human calendar. When I got out of the Air Force in 1988, I found a little book that had a pattern, showed a pattern in the calendar that you could figure out what day any date is on. So if somebody in the audience wants to share their birthday, if you tell me the month, day, and the year, I can calculate what day of the week that it was on. So, Big Al, you want to share yours first? Go ahead. 12/8/67. That was on a Friday. Do you remember that? 12/8/67. About 3:30.
Actually, not to nitpick, but it took 3 days for Al to be born.
Yeah. Does anybody want to share their birthday? Yeah, go ahead.
How about August 1st, 1969?
That was a Friday. Yeah? Is that right? Yeah? Okay, go ahead.
July 4th, 1948.
Ooh, that was a Sunday, July 4th, 48. So I can do any date in history. You can tell me a date, and I can figure out, let's do one more. I want to do something else. Okay, yes, sir, go ahead.
June 12th, 69.
That was a Thursday. You turned 18 in 87 on a Friday. You turned 21 in 1990. What was the year you were born? 69. Yeah, so 90. That was on a Tuesday. This year it's on a Monday. You'll be 100 on a Friday. All right. So good for you. Yeah. So you can tell me any date, and I can calculate what day of the week it was on, and this algorithm to figure it out. Like, what's your birthday, Mark?
August 5th.
I'm ready.
Every year.
Every year. That's brilliant.
Oh, you mean?
No, that's good.
55.
That's right. They didn't have calendars back then. But just kidding. Oh no, it was the Roman. That's right. So August 5th, 55. Right. So here's what you have to do to figure out what day of the week a date is on with your calendar. You have to take the year, 55, plus the year divided by 4 to calculate how many leap years have occurred, which is 13.75. So you got 55 and 13 is 68. You were born on the 5th. You got to add that. That's 5 more is 73. You were born in August. That's 2 more, 77. You divide that by 7, and the remainder of that tells me what day of the week that date was on. So that's what I go through to get it. See what I mean? So why do we use a calendar that makes no sense at all? Nobody knows what day Christmas is. Nobody knows what days, well, you know what Thanksgiving is maybe. It's Thursday. But other than most dates, we don't know what day of the week they're on, how many days are between dates. And we've been using this calendar for 2,000 years. So that's why when I figured out this formula to figure out what day of the week a date is on, my first question was why are we using such a crazy calendar that was invented 2,000 years ago that they thought the earth was flat at the time. And they just used Latin words that didn't mean what they said. So yeah, I'm still surprised we made it this far. I just hope we change it before we get to Y3K. That's my only goal is I got a few years to do that.
That's awesome. Well, you know what? By the way, if somebody's watching here or anybody here wants to follow you on social media or find your website, tell us a little bit about that.
Human calculator.
Hey, it's good having you here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Humancalculator.com.
Right, yeah, it's all whatever human
And then
calculator.
if anybody wants to find you, so that's your website.
Yeah, and Twitter
Facebook,
and all that stuff.
the whole deal.
Human
Okay,
calculator,
cool.
yep.
Cool. We did a little research. This is some of the shows that Scott brags about being on.
What? There's proof of those.
I know.
Yeah. Oprah was the best
Oprah?
one. Oprah was awesome, and Ellen, she was incredible. I didn't realize how she's an amazing girl. Yeah, all those were great. Well, the Discovery Channel, no, History Channel was the Stanley Superhumans. Have you ever seen Stanley Superhumans? He's the guy who invented a lot of the superheroes. Maybe you've seen some of his stuff. He was one of the most fascinating guys just because, we're trying to help kids be excited about being good at math. And it seems like it's become socially accepted to be bad at math. You guys don't admit, or your friends don't admit, oh, I'm no good at numbers, I'm no good at math. That's what makes it so easy for kids to be bad at math. We're just perpetuating that problem. So we gotta get a sense of urgency about that.
Well, the reason I brought this up, we've seen all these shows. I noticed that you don't advertise that you've been on Mesa Morning Live.
Yeah, that's your fault. I didn't get the video link, so I couldn't share it. It's no, I'll put it on there. I don't know who's in charge of my PR. I'll straighten that out right away. Thanks for pointing that out, Mark. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you know how if you've got a smartphone, you've got a little app there, you've got a little calculator. I actually have a button that I can push for a calculator. Or if I go to my favorite call list of my contacts, I push number 7 and I actually get the human calculator.
Why not number 9?
Oh, good point.
Everybody try this just for fun. People watching too, but just try this for fun. Simple exercise. I shared it with you guys once before, but it's you got to get your mind around it, and then it's easy. Everybody, don't say your age out loud, but just think of your age, the 2 digits, right? Okay. Add those 2 digits together, and you get a total, right? Take that total and subtract it from your age. All right. So if you're 50, take away 5. You know what I mean? Take your age, subtract the total, and now think about your answer. And add those 2 digits together. Did you get 9? Everybody got 9. This works for every number to infinity. Practice this. When you're riding home today from the show, you see 55, try it out. What's 5 and 5? 10. 55 minus 10 is 45. 4 plus 5 is 9. Every number does this. It works to infinity. My goal is to reach every 9-year-old kid on the planet Earth. So when they're 9 years old, every number they see will come back to their age. The number 9. It'll make them feel like every number is their friend. So when you leave here, the first sign you're going to see is 30. 3 plus 0 is 3. 30 take away 3 is 27.
2 plus 7 is 9.
2 and 7 is 9. This works for every number. So just try it today. And when you got it, all I ask is find one person in your life around 9 years old and share it with them. And watch what happens. You can see their brain just click on, because instead of memorizing math facts, this is a pattern that works for every number. It'll revolutionize the relationship these kids have with numbers. So just give it a shot. I have free videos on my site and stuff. You can go watch it if you want to take a few minutes. But it's easy to do. You just got to practice it.
It is true how we just, we kind of laugh it off and go, oh, with me, I can't do math.
Yeah.
And it's an easy bailout. So you're going to...
Well, if you were illiterate, you wouldn't say, hey, Scott, I can't read your press kit, but let's talk anyway. You wouldn't say that,
Thanks for saying
it. Yeah, we made it not okay to be illiterate. So innumeracy is the same thing. We just need to create a sense of urgency and get rid of this innumeracy. We're 41st in the world in math scores. And Arizona's 43rd in the 41st ranked country. So I hope that gives you perspective of how far off we are and where we need to be.
43, if you add those 2 together.
7.
Yeah.
36. 3 and 6 is 9.
See?
There you go, yeah.
You're onto this. Hey, tell a story. I know that at what age did you realize, I know the answer to this, there was something a little goofy going on up in your noggin?
Yeah.
And when you used to go shopping with your mom?
Yeah, I was in third grade, and my teacher wrote a bunch of numbers on the board for us to add up. And I wasn't paying attention, and I did it backwards. I went left to right, and I just went 10, 20, 30, 40, 45, 50, and I just said the answer out loud. And she's like, how did you do that? here's another one. She wrote down some numbers, and I said, oh, that's 73. She goes, what are you doing? And I said, don't you go 20, 40, 50, 60 like that? She goes, no, you got to start over here and do carry. And I was like, that seems like a lot of work. So by 4th grade, I would learn something in math class and then sit there and try to figure out an easier way to get the answer. So by 5th grade, I was actually showing my teacher, and my teacher, Mr. Potter, said, Scott, anything you figure out, bring it to me, and if I can prove that it works algebraically, I'll let you share it with the rest of the class. And that really inspired me. So from that age on, but the moment that really hit me was in 4th grade when my mom took me to the grocery store. We had a lot of kids, not a lot of money, and she said, Scott, we got $150 for groceries, add everything up as it's going in the cart, and just tell me when we're close. And so I added it up, and it was $149.37, I think was the right number. And I told my dad, and my dad wrote out the check for $149.37 before they rung it up. And the manager's like, what are you doing? And my dad says, oh, my son can add this up. And the guy goes, no, you can't. You got taxable, non-taxable, and all this stuff. And he goes, no, I think he got it. And she gets done ringing up, and it was $149.37. And the guy's, and so his reaction.
He was banned from that store, by the way.
Yeah. Then casinos. It's so weird. What? No, don't gamble, kids. So yeah, that was the moment where it hit me that maybe I was a little bit different. That reaction of that manager of that store, because my buddies knew I could do this stuff, but and that's when it started, becoming something. But that's a dream come true to have a gift that you discover as a kid and get to use it the rest of your life to help others. I mean, when I leave schools and see 300 kids excited about numbers, there's nothing else I can do that day. It's all downhill from there because it's as good as it gets for me. So yeah, it's a dream come true.
That's awesome. Well, and your favorite sport is?
Golf.
Which is, how many, go ahead and
Can I
talk about
brag
that.
just 1 second?
Sure.
I'm sorry, but I'm so excited about this. I've played golf since I was a kid. I'm a 4 handicap. I've been a 0 handicap. I've played all over the world. I'm very blessed in the golf world, but Ping Golf just signed me on as a brand ambassador, so I'll be touring for Ping Golf now. So thank you, Ping. Isn't that crazy? Hey, just so you guys know, the first TV show I ever shot was in Phoenix, Arizona when I moved here after I got out of the Air Force. It was 1991, 92 when we started filming infomercials. Remember when infomercials came out? And I filmed my first one ever at Horizon High School, and I had Mark come in and do a comedy set to get the kids warmed up so they didn't hate math by the time I got on stage. And so we've been friends for over 25 years. So would you give it up for Mark? He's an amazing guy. Thanks, brother.
Because I think those of you that have seen me do stand-up, you realize that my prime demographic is high school kids. That was awesome. And then what's weird, Scott's a great golfer, and I love playing. Is still the best round you've ever had was when you played with me at the Boulders?
Well, the best round of golf I've ever had was with you at Boulders South, and it was a miracle day. It was one of those days where time stands still. I had a putt for 29 on number 18 on the back nine.
Yes, you did. And but anyway, I don't want to brag because he's a really good golfer, but Ping just signed me to a deal that if I don't play their clubs, they give me $500 a year.
Sweet, good for you, man. I'll help you get that going.
That's awesome. Anything else going on you'd like to share?
No, I have no life other than what I've just stated here.
That's all. Now, where's home for you? Are you living here?
I'm in Paradise Valley now. I moved back from Vegas after the Olympics, and I'm back in Arizona. I just love it here. It just feels like home, Arizona. And just so you know, I'm trying to help kids learn 0 through 9 instead of 1 through 10.
Talk about that real quick.
Yeah, you guys just when you get a chance with the kids, just try it with kids in your life. But we're all wired to think about numbers like this. The human body has 10 fingers, and you've all learned to go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's cool if you want to count your fingers, but if you want to think like a calculator, if you look at your phone, there's no 10 on there. It's 0 through 9. You turn on your calculator, 0 through 9. There's no 10. When you turn on a calculator, it always starts at 0. That's what allows a calculator to do what it does. So if you want to turn on your calculator, you got to go like this. 10 fingers, 10 digits. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's really 0 through 9. And when you use 0, all these patterns start making themselves visible in numbers. So just when you get a chance, try it, 0 through 9. And everybody, just for fun, I want to see it, because everybody gets it wrong. Everybody take your hands, go like this. Shake out the 1 through 10, though. Romans did that to us. Close your fists. All right, we're going to start with 0. Everybody ready? Go.
0.
I've still heard of 1. All right, see it happen. It doesn't matter where you go.
You know who it was? It was our banker.
Oh, no.
It was Dave Weir. All right, that's awesome. Let me tell you what a compliment. He is so committed to this. Scott plays in a lot of, he's one of his best friends is Alice Cooper. They play in a lot of celebrity things. He met Bo Derek one time, and he said she was so hot, she was a 9.
Yeah. She took it personally, but I ranked things 0 through 9.
And 10 is 0
10
in
is
his
a big
life.
number, you know, so I'm only 0 through 9, so she took it personally, but it's a 10 in the 9 world, you know.
That's awesome.
So,
Well,
yeah.
stick around a little bit.
Okay.
Follow Scott on social media. You won't be disappointed.
Human calculator.
Human calculator. And thanks so much. I couldn't help but notice you were driving down here today. What are you driving these days?
I have a Jeep.
Okay, it's looking a little rough.
No, I love my Jeep.
Get it cleaned.
Thanks,
$100
buddy.
detail gift card. Take it in to Cobblestone Auto Spa.
I love Cobblestone.
And they're all over the valley, and they'll detail it up for you.
Thanks, buddy. I was going to go do that today.
Your car will, it'll look like a 9.
Yeah, and I can take the top off. And, well, it's a 10. It's a Jeep. It's a 10. Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Well, thanks so much. Big round of applause for the Human
thanks,
Calculator.
everybody. Sally. Thank
There she
you,
is.
Sally. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, we're going to wrap this up real quick because that's going to conclude this morning's. We hope you had a good time. How about a big round of applause for all of our guests? Human Calculator, Mr. Scott Flansburg. Don't forget, we do this every month. Next month, we're going to take it off, though, because of the Veterans Day. There's too much going on. We'll be back here with you in December. What will the second Friday in December be?
Well, the first one is December 1st, so
Okay,
it's...
it'll be December 8th.
Look at him go.
Come back here in here on December 8th for the next Mesa Morning Live. We'd like to thank Crescent Crown once again, all of our behind-the-scenes sponsors, all of our tabletops. Stop and get your bag on your way out. And you know what, folks? Whatever business you're in or you're looking for or referrals or whatever, always look within the Mesa Chamber. There's somebody that can help you out. That's what we're doing for each other. Thanks for doing what you do to make Mesa, Arizona such a great place to live and do business. Make it a great day, folks.